Welcome back to a chapter day. Happy Monday. Start of a new work week. Pray that it's going well with you. If not, keep on hoping, keep on working. God is blessing. Today we are reading Job chapter 31. The last time we read, Job was still giving his testimony of how people are treating him now that he's in such a bad way. The people who would have bowed down to him before because of his rich, wealthy status are now spitting at him, kicking at him. People, he said, he would not have even allowed their fathers to be part of his herds or part of the dogs that maybe rounded up his herds. Now they are jeering at him and mocking him. And he can't understand why God is allowing it, just like we do when we are going through rough times. So let's see what Job 31 has. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? For what portion of God is there from above? And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked, and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? Doth not he see my ways and count all my steps? If I have walked with vanity, or if my foot hath hasted to deceit, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity. If my step hath turned out of the way, and mine heart walked after mine eyes, and if any blot hath cleaved to mine hands, then let me sow, and let another eat. Yea, let my offspring be rooted out. If mine heart have been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at my neighbor's door, then let my wife grind unto another, and let others bow down upon her. So once again, Job is declaring himself guiltless of whatever accusations that may have been thrown his way, that he is an unrighteous man. He said he has not succumbed to temptations by looking at women in a lustful way. He has not taken his neighbor's wife, and if that be what happened, then let his own wife cleave to another. But Job knows himself, and he knows his sincerity and his innocence. Verse 11, for this is an heinous crime, yea, it is an iniquity to be punished by the judges. For it is a fire that consumeth to destruction, and would root out all mine increase. If I did despise the cause of my manservant, or of my maidservant, when they contended with me, what then shall I do when God riseth up? And when he visiteth, what shall I answer him? Did not he that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb? If I have withheld the poor from their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel myself alone, and the fatherless hath not eaten thereof. For from my youth he was brought up with me, as with a father, and I have guided her from my mother's womb. If I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me, and if he were not warmed with the fleece of my sheep. So again, Job is going through all the things that he has done to help others. Not that he is bragging or boasting, but he knows he has reached out to people in need. So if God finds him lacking in any of these areas, then it is warranted for punishment. But Job knows himself. Okay? Verse 21. If I have lifted up my hand against the fatherless when I saw my help in the gate, then let mine arm fall from my shoulder blade. And mine arm be broken from the bone. For destruction from God was a terror to me, and by reason of his highness I could not endure. If I have made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because mine hand had gotten much. If I had beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart hath been secretly enticed, or my mouth hath kissed my hand. This also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge, for I should have denied the God that is above. If I rejoiced at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him. Neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. So again, Job is listing all the things that he knows he is not guilty of. He has not used wealth as his God, okay? He has not rejoiced when his enemies had fallen. He did not withhold his help from the fatherless. So he's voicing to himself, to his friends, to God, that he has not done anything that would be caused to accuse him for whatever it is that he's receiving recompense for whatever he's going through. Verse 31. If the men of my tabernacle said not, oh, that we had of his flesh, we cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors to the traveler. If I covered my transgressions as Adam by hiding mine iniquity in my bosom, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of families terrify me, that I kept silence and went not out of the door? Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that mine adversary had written a book. Surely I would take it upon my shoulder, and bind it as a crown to me. I would declare unto him the number of my steps. As a prince would I go near unto him. If my land cry against me, or that the furrows likewise thereof complain, if I have eaten the fruits thereof without money, or have caused the owners thereof to lose their life, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and cockle instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Wow. So that's Job's testimony about himself. And like I said, know thyself. People think you ought not to be honest about yourself. If this is what you've done, this is what you've done. If it's what you have not done, then you keep silent. But Job knows what he's done. And despite what his friends are saying about him, he's giving testimony of what he's done. And God bore witness, because God sees everything we do. So it's only a matter of time before we see how God decides to vindicate Job. But until then, that's the end of our reading of chapter 31. Thank you all again for listening. I pray you're getting something from these readings. And until our next reading, keep on listening to God's words so that our faith can grow. Take care. Bye.